Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Tech Tip Tuesday. Today, Howard, our senior sales architect, is going to talk about a variety of different security tips. If anyone has any questions throughout, please use your GoToWebinar control panel to type in a question. I'll be monitoring those and either interrupting Howard or wait until the end to make sure that your question gets answered. So without further ado, Howard, please take it away and give us some tips on security.
Yeah, thank you, Christy. If you recall from last week, we covered antivirus, but there is a lot of ways you can protect your data, just going beyond, after the fact. So today, what we're going to do is look at some of our what you can do to protect up front. So if I can go to the next screen here, and this happened to me, by the way, and I got a denial of service notification from one of my service providers. Happened to be DigitalOcean, and you may see these pretty often if you run any type of service on or any type of edge type of interface. So I was actually running NFS server on and it brings up a RPC bind that listens on 111. So on port 111, there's a exploit where they can actually flood another IP with using your server. So if you get enough of them, it will shut down the customer site. So you may get one of these from Amazon. If you do, don't worry. There's a lot of ways to protect yourself and prevent that in the first place.
Howard, are you sharing a different screen now? We're still just seeing the title screen, so I want to make sure that if you're moving.
How's that?
Yeah, now I see the security and keys.
Okay. So anyways, this is one of the emails that I got, and it says a public-facing device on your network was part of a large-scale attack. So there's a lot of ways you can prevent things like that, and the main thing what you want to do is keep your software up to date. This is just a pretty common answer to any type of solution. They always has the latest fixes and patches that resolves a lot of security holes. With Zadara, we always monitor all the type of activities, security patches, and things like that, and they get integrated in security fixes on a regular basis. So if it's very critical, we'll get it in within a few days, and it's basically is going to be available to you with the next upgrade. So that's one advantage of having a managed storage solution using Zadara, is that this is all done for you. But when you're running your EC2 instances, you may have some open ports that you need to look at. Now we're behind your instances, so there's not really too much of an issue there. In fact, there isn't an issue. But what you want to do is minimize the number of ports that you have open. If you open up your whole interface to the world, you're bound to find some kind of security hole and leak there. We also recommend very strong passwords. So the stronger the better, the longer the better, and you'll get any type of password, guessing or any type of scheme there where somebody can just try to crack your passwords. Using Password Manager, LastPass, RoboForm, those are a couple that I use, and that allows you to use a longer password, and you just use a passphrase. So going down to when you create an instance in AWS, that's wide open. They just give you the private key, and they install the public key right on their instance. But the thing is, the private key is not encrypted. So what you want to do is re-encrypt that and use a passphrase for that. So if anyone happens to get your key, you don't have to go ahead and worry about it because it's already password protected. And if you're going into any type of maintenance, or you need to get on your network and you happen to be on a public network, use a VPN. There's a lot of VPNs that are available out there. I use a product called Viper VPN from Golden Frog. So if I happen to have to be on a public network, a library or a Starbucks, I can create a VPN, and there's nothing in the middle between me and the server with Viper VPN. And Viper VPN works really good. You can create a Viper VPN server in your VPC on the EC2 instance, and you can have direct access through a VPN right to your Zadara storage. So that's another benefit of the Viper VPN if you're using that type of instance. So let me show you a couple demos here. If you haven't used PuTTY Agent, let me bring this up here. Let me back up here. PuTTY Gen. So with PuTTY Gen, you can get this right off if you search for PuTTY, and it's part of the suite. There's a PuTTY Gen generator which allows you to import keys. So if you wanted to import your key, let's say I have a Howard demo here. I can import this this AWS key, and then I can rekey it with a passphrase here. And of course, what you want to do here is make it as long as possible, and you can use like how now brown cow. Make sure you put spaces in there. Add a 0 for the O's or something like that. Something that you can remember and you can use throughout. And what it'll do, you can now save it as a private key, and then use that with PuTTY. So, then when you try to log in using the PuTTY private key, it'll ask you for the passphrase. So now your AWS key is protected and encrypted, so no one can use it unless you happen to give them the passphrase. So that's one really good tip here, and it will secure your keys. Another thing you can do is you can actually use IPtables, and IPtables, what that'll do, that'll block ports. So in my case, on my DigitalOcean server that I had an NFS server on, basically you use IPtables, you give it the protocol, which is UDP, and you define the port, and you say just drop it. So if any type of requests are on that particular port under this protocol, it just gets dropped, and the denial of service just basically gets rejected at that point in time. Now I can still have this and still have it work with without having an NFS on my network. And I just want to do is I just add a -s exclamation and give it the participant list. So anyone in this particular network would be able to attach to an NFS server, but the thing is, anything outside of the network, it would get dropped. So that's just one of the ways you can actually go ahead and protect your data, or actually access to your data at that point. We talked a little bit about PuTTY, and with PuTTY, what you want to do is use an agent. So what an agent does is it allows you to enter your keys. So you'll enter your keys and the passphrase once, and then during that session you don't have to re-enter your passphrase. Otherwise, you're going to have to re-enter it each time you access a server, and then this will save you a lot of time. SSH, the secure shell, it really saves you. It's sort of like a mini VPN. But one of the nice features that I like to use is tunnels. Now, what a tunnel does, it just basically opens up a port and redirects it to the remote host. So, for example, on this local port here, 8443, I can redirect that to VPSA under this address, and then this would be HTTPS. And then I could just access my local host here with this port number, and I have a complete shell, secure connection through my network at that point in time. So it's it bypasses any type of routing. You don't need a VPN at that point. Here's another use case here. So the 3306 is basically the MySQL port that you want to do. And if you want to do any type of management of your MySQL database, you could do it local from your laptop, and then have a secure access through SSH. So that's a real good way to protect your data and still manage it. So I know a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll run like PHP myadmin right on their server and make it public. It's very insecure at that point. And you can actually run this remotely through SSH. So that'll save you a lot of heartaches if you go ahead and do a shell. So let me show you a couple things on AWS that, so bring this up here. So this happens to be one of my lunch wizards, and you get this directly through your VPC, and then under security groups. And this gives you a way to designate the open ports. And this is sort of obvious, but what you want to do is actually limit the number of ports, and then you can edit this at any point in time. So if you need to go back and add a port, you just go ahead and add it. So for example, if I want to add a rule, and I want to do if I want to do an NFS server, I could specify a custom address. I could do it from anywhere. Now, so this is anywhere. This is something you don't want to do. This would cause a denial of service if they have to use this public IP. You can also specify my IP, and then I'll just pull out wherever you're logged into, or you can give a custom, like this one here. So you give it like your custom address with a CIDR here, and then anyone in that particular subnet can access it. And typically you do that like if you had a remote office, then you would give it the IP address at that point in time. And then you can cancel or save it, and then you're all good to go at that point in time. Now this is another good utility here. Let me bring this up. It's on grc.com/haystack, and it just sort of gives you an idea. You can have like weak passwords, and then you can just, if you add a space in between it, you can see that now it's instead of like taking 16 minutes to hack, it'll take 33 years or 34 years, and you can make it even stronger by doing something like that. And you can make weak passwords into very strong passwords. And what I usually do is I usually will come up with something like this. I'll use that for my passphrase, and then it gives me I can sort of test it out and see how good it is. So this is a really good thing. It doesn't really replace the strength of it. Usually when you create a password like through RoboForm or 1Pass, it'll tell you the strength. But usually the longer the password and number of symbols, the stronger you're going to get. So are there any questions, Christy?
Hey Howard, that's a useful tool there. I didn't know about that. I just put that into the chat, the link for everyone in case they want to use it, because that's a great tool. I should use it for my passwords and stuff. Anyway, we do have one question. Someone using NFS, they're asking if there's denial of service risk with Zadara. Can you elaborate on that?
So the answer is no. And with the if you're using NFS, for example, uh, uh, we do open up port 111 TCP. There's no risk because you're on your own particular VLAN and it's not exposed to the edge or the public interface. So as long as there's no routing from there to your particular VPSA, there should be no issue at that point in time because they won't be able to get from a EC2 instance directly into your VPSA.
Okay, good. Did anyone else have any other questions? That was the only one I saw come in. Just use your go-to webinar control panel if you do in the questions tab. If not, here are some resources relevant to today's tips. As always, Howard's available via email, howard@zadarastorage.com, or on Twitter @HowardY. If you have a suggestion for a topic you'd like us to cover, go to the bit.ly there, ask me anything, and we'll try and incorporate it in a future session. If we do choose your topic that you submitted, we will send you $25 to Starbucks as a thank you, and you can enjoy a cup of coffee during the next Tech Tip Tuesday. There's also some other links in there that Howard spoke of today. The GRC one I put in the chat window, and then there's a couple other in there too. And always, this will be online on our YouTube channel and on our website shortly after we get off here. So thank you for joining us today. Howard, are you here next week or?
Next week will be Doug Jury, our VP of Sales, will be joining us. And what we're going to do is go over pricing guides. And, it's really exciting because we offer software-defined storage. And what we'll do is go over some of the best cases for your storage. So be sure to join that, and you'll get some pretty exciting information on how to get the best value per gigabyte you can get from us.
Great. Well, I look forward to that one, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining.